I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Take a quick second to honor all the vets who are on active duty, have served, and those that have given the ultimate sacrifice for us on this Veterans Day. So, notice for this meeting was given in advance thereof by publishing one time in the Keith County News and posting at the City Administration Building as shown by the certificate of posting notice. Notice for this meeting was simultaneously given to the president and all members of the council. Availability of the agenda was communicated in the advance notice and the notice to the president and council of this meeting. All proceedings hereafter will be taken while this convened meeting is open to the attendance of the public. This meeting is being convened in accordance with the Open Meetings Act. A copy of the Open Meetings Act is posted in the southeast corner of the council chambers. Any person wishing to address the council may do so by standing. When you're recognized, please go to the podium. Please sign the sign-in sheet located on the podium. State your name and the organization, interest, or person you represent before you begin speaking. Thank you. Roll call.
Lot.
Here.
Dupierre.
Here.
Holstein, absent. Kraske.
Here.
Laughlin.
Here. But the first order of business is the resignation of Dustin Holstein. I believe that was in your agenda packets.
I'll move to accept the resignation of Councilmember Dustin Holstein.
Second.
We have a motion by Councilman Laughlin and a second by Councilman Block to accept the resignation of Councilman Holstein. If there's no further discussion, council please vote.
Four yes.
Mr. President, this may be the time to acknowledge the memo that you received from legal counsel
Yes, I did.
as to
Go ahead.
filling of that.
Yeah, I talked to Mike earlier today and I'd like him to go through the process for us. So we know what to expect.
Yes, with the acceptance of the resignation, then the council is required to give public notice of the vacancy, and that can be done by publishing one time in Keith County News or by posting in 3 separate places in the city, giving the public notice of the vacation, and then also that it's going to be filled. And the proper procedure then is to on the next agenda, which is in 2 weeks, have an agenda item for the consideration of the appointment of a member of the public to finish the remaining term. That's one procedure, or the council could elect to call a special election. That's up to the council. In prior years, the council has always just gone with the procedure, the first procedure, which is the appointment of somebody from the public. So if that's the procedure that is followed, then the next council meeting, the council president would present a name to the council for consideration, at which time the council would vote, discussion and whatnot, but then would vote on the acceptance of that nomination. The ordinance reads that the council president would not vote on that unless there was the need to break a tie. 3 remaining council people, more likely than not, that would not be the case, but that's the purpose of the council president having the right to make the nomination and then the vote. If that election or that vote is successful, then that person would be immediately presented with the oath and then seated. If the motion fails, then at the next council meeting, the same procedure would start. The only difference would be that the council president would make a nomination, there would be a vote, and there would be a continued process of nomination and vote until the seat is filled. So if it is not successful on one run at the next council meeting, then at the following council meeting after that, it would basically be nomination and vote until the seat is filled. So that's kind of the procedure. If there's any questions on it.
So you can only bring one name?
At the first
Yeah.
meeting.
And at the second meeting, it would be a name and there would be a vote and then a name and then a vote and then a name and a vote.
Right.
So yeah, it's not a slate.
Right.
Yeah, the ordinance is pretty clear, as well as state law is pretty clear that it's a nomination vote.
Now, is it for the full term or does it go till the next election cycle? And is there a special?
It's for the remaining term. If you're gonna appoint, it would be for the remaining term, but yeah. If you're gonna have an election, then you'd have to call a special election, because it would have to be in advance of the next general election.
But even an election would be just for the balance of the term.
Yeah.
So I would assume a candidate wishing to move forward on this would have to submit some sort of application to the city.
Yeah, I think what the council president is proposing is that anyone that has any interest based on the public notice, they would submit that information to either the city manager or the city clerk. And that would be sent out. Yes, that would generally be the case.
Yeah, and I mean, the names that you'd receive, I mean, I'm sure we're gonna get some support from Keith County News here, but any names that would be submitted or any statements or documents that they would send in, resumes or whatever, you know, I'd suggest.
Ideally, I would like to have something in writing from whoever's interested,
Sure.
so that I have something to present you.
That would.
And a resume would be great.
Yeah, well, we need to confirm that they are.
Well,
residents.
we need at least a name, address, so that we can confirm they live within the corporate boundaries.
And they do have to be registered voters. Is that correct?
Any other questions?
I'd just like to say thank you publicly for Dustin for the years that he served on the council and what he's done for the community. That is greatly appreciated. Wish you the best.
Dustin was one of the best community supporters. You know, with Valentino and the theater, he did a lot for the community. Besides being on the council. All right, if there are no further questions, we have no consent agenda this evening or public hearing, and then public forum. Is there anyone here wishing to speak on anything that is not on the agenda? If not, under public forum, we have two recognitions tonight for police officers. For Chief Herman first. Can you? Thanks. Years. Reared in nearby Brady, James often touts his farm boy pragmatism in his work with the public and fellow city employees. He attended college at Doane College, graduating in 1996 with a degree in sociology with an emphasis on criminology. James was hired as a police officer for the city on October 30th, 2000. He was promoted to sergeant in 2006. On July 1st, 2018, James was named the chief of police. In his tenure as chief of police, Chief Herman is credited with building a positive culture at OPD to the benefit of his officers and public they serve. Due to his commitment to training and community policing innovation, the Ogallala Police Department is highly regarded by our peer communities. Under his leadership, officers are highly trained in all facets of being a police officer. James always has a great attitude, even when dealing with the many challenges of his job. James continues to serve the city with dedication and distinction, and we are fortunate to have him on our team. The City Council and City of Ogallala wish to thank you for your 25 years of dedicated service. Thank you, Chief. Thank you. Nice job.
Yeah, you actually even get in my subscribe. We have one for Officer Malzahn.
Officer Taylor Malzahn began his employment with the city of Ogallala on November 2nd, 2020. Taylor was raised in Lusk, Wyoming, graduating from NCHS Public School. During his time as a teenager, he enjoyed participating in athletics. After graduation, Taylor attended Eastern Wyoming College for a time. Taylor stays active within the Ogallala Police Department, being the department's school resource officer. While the department was short on officers, Taylor was very helpful in stepping up and assisting with calls for service. Taylor has also assisted with the training of newly hired officers with the FTO program. Taylor previously was in charge of the police department vehicle impound, assisting with acquiring titles when needed. November 5th, 2025, Taylor was promoted to the rank of sergeant. When not at work, Taylor enjoys golfing and working on woodworking projects. He is a fan of the Wyoming Cowboys and the LSU Tiger football programs. Taylor is married to Alex. Officer Malzahn, thank you for your service.
Sir.
And thank you for being the school resource officer. I've heard a lot of good things about what's going on there. So, thank you both. All right, moving on. Report of the city clerk treasurer. We have the minutes of the regular meeting held October 28th, 2025.
Move to approve the minutes of the regular meeting held October 28th, 2025.
Second.
We have a motion by Councilman Laughlin and a second by Councilman Dupierre to approve the minutes. There is no further discussion. For any discussion, please vote.
Four yes.
Motion carried. We have a financial report for October 2025.
Okay, for the month ended October 31st, 2025, the revenues were $1,062,072.09. Expenses for the month were $1,543,426.85. As you'll see on the second page of the financial report, I have a new report there that's replacing the revenue and expense report that I have been preparing in prior years. So this report shows revenue received year to date, excluding revenue designated for capital, debt, and miscellaneous expenses that may or may not be received. And then the fourth column of the numbers will show only capital expenses funded with regularly received fund revenue, such as property tax and sales tax. And the fifth column is the net for each fund that does take into account the budgeted use of cash reserves for each fund. As you can see, the overall city net for the month ending October 31st, 2025 is a negative $179,727.68. I'm going to stop there. Does anybody have any questions on that new report? Is that kind of what you were looking to see?
Absolutely. I like it. It pulls out all those uncertain funds
Right.
we have and projects. So
Okay.
thank you, Jane.
Yeah.
I really like this.
And fiscal year to date, the city has received $82,445.15 from franchise fees, $5,333.02 from telephone occupation taxes, and $48,049 from hotel occupation taxes. And on the LB 840, I apologize that the unencumbered balance got deleted off of the report as I was adding to the new fiscal year, but that unencumbered balance is a negative $243,130.98. And that line will show up in your next one. Anybody have any questions?
No, good job.
I like it. All right, thank you.
And that other report that I cut out, you don't want to see that, right? You don't see a value in that?
Not really.
That- Very good.
Right. Moving on, and recommendations of departments, boards and committees, we have the park specification bid opening date for the 2025 Western Diamonds Overflow parking lot.
Mr. President, this is paving just off the southeast quadrant of the Western Diamonds. So there's a parking lot there, so this will be put some asphalt on it.
Okay, that's the one that everybody jumps the curb and trees and. It is full. Okay,
We budgeted 50,000 on that.
Yes.
I'll move to approve the specifications, advertising and bid opening dates for 2025. A Western Diamonds overflow parking lot overlay.
we have a motion by Councilman Lappin and a second by Councilman Blott to approve the specs, advertising, bid opening dates for the Western Diamonds Overflow parking lots. There's no further discussion. The council, please vote.
Or yes.
Motion carried. Moving on, under report of city attorney.
I do not have.
A report of city manager.
Mr. President, last week, had conversations with the engineer on the drainage project that we've been looking at since 2019. The one that we had the money teed up and it went away. I discussed with the engineer several options on this. We're gonna pursue about $4.5 million in funding. Our match will be at about $1.5 million. That's not gonna do all the project, but that'll do the primary problem area on that. And what I hope to do is get the engineering done for the balance of it. So as we move forward on the road, I can kind of work with Department of Roads on getting maybe some oversized drainage as they work on that road, if it's already engineered. The other discussion is when we went through budgets, we were looking at some significant changes or options that we wanted to look at prior to getting into the budget time. Things such as some of our outside agency agreements, moving forward with some FBO at the airport, taking a deeper dive into various departments. I think what we've done in the past is I've worked with whoever has that committee assignment. I think through the regular time, or I work with the council president. In this case, because I think we want to be more deliberative on this, I would like either for you or some volunteers to step in and work with me in going through a deeper look at things such as the discussions on the pool and how that relates to the sports complex and where we're at on that. The outside agency agreements, do we change them? Do we modify them? Or do we keep them the same? Anything that we want to do with employee wages and benefits. I know there's some discussions on a freeze or capping certain things. I'd like to get all of that. If we're going to move forward with things that will impact the budget, or if we want to prepare for another rough budget year, I would like to have some of that decided by end of May, no later than June, so that we're not trying to manage these things at the same time from the rostrum at budget time.
Well, and we owe that to the organizations we fund also. That we need to give them as much notice or heads up as possible that, funding is being cut, to us or possibly to them also. So I think it's a good idea. And Councilman Dupierre did a great job. I think he handed this out to everyone on doing a kind of a summary of the things that we wanted to talk about.
I think you just got.
Oh, did it? I'm sorry.
We've got to tweak a few things on
Yeah,
it.
no worries.
It's basically just a little bit of a sign up sheet.
I can take a look at that, but I'd like to bet.
There's some modifications that I want to make to that just for some clarity.
But what Kevin and I talked about too is that, each council member and whoever is appointed as the newest council member, they may have an interest in certain categories on this or certain areas where two council members can work with Kevin on a specific project or item. And I told Kevin, I'm gonna hold back and, cause I can float to any one of them at any time, as long as there's not a quorum. So if somebody says, you know, hey, I can't make it this time, I may step in and help out there, or if just one person wants to do it, I'd be willing to fill in also, but.
Then we talked about maybe coming back at either in a retreat format and dealing with some of the issues that we want to take a deeper dive in, or some of the issues that are gonna come up, right? Well, like, some of these decisions might be pretty easy. Do we put out an RFP for a fixed base operator at the airport? Okay, we can make that decision like we did with the YMCA, like we did with some of these other changes. And we can, but as far as maybe getting into these other things, we want to look at them more comprehensively in a retreat or special meeting form.
Well, and it gives each council member an opportunity to present the case for that topic too, in detail. I mean, just like a senator would do, or a congressman on a specific bill. Versus having all five of us look at all of this stuff together, and it just kind of gets overwhelming sometimes.
Oftentimes there's an assumption made that there's significant savings that really don't exist.
Yes. And sometimes we need to refer to or legal counsel on what we can and can't do. So.
No, I like it, and I think it makes sense for, whoever wants to, take a deeper dive into kind of the YMCA contracts. You're gonna kind of want to pull some of the pool conversation and the tennis court conversations and kind of mix those together and look at the bigger, 5 to 10 year plan.
Yep. And, it's an opportunity to bring in the department heads also and sit in on some of these discussions.
I envision that as councilmen pick what area they want to dive into, we'll sit down with that department head with the city manager always present, go to that department, look at what they have, and get a deeper familiarity with what's going on in that particular department.
Good. I like it. Anything else?
That's it.
We don't have reports of any council members, but I was having problems with email. Councilman Dupierre at the last meeting, he sent me that he was absent. He sent me a really good report on stuff. I didn't get it. Would you like to give that update now?
I sure can.
Thank you.
Just a second. So at our last meeting with the Joint Housing Authority. Sorry, I won't pull up.
Well, Austin's doing that. I did think of one thing. I do have a draft of the comp plan. I will get each of you a link to that.
Okay.
The student who's working on our comp plan will be here this Thursday and Friday with her instructor as well.
So yeah, in regards to the Joint Housing Authority, at that time, the government was shut down. A extreme amount of uncertainty with the long-term feasibility of Section 8 as a whole. Trump's goal is to pretty much shut it down. I don't know how that's all going to play out. At that time, at that meeting, we were only funded till the 15th of November, and there is nobody from HUD that we can contact.
Would you explain what Section 8 is for those that are watching on YouTube that may not know? Yeah.
So it's your low income, and it's what this organization does specifically is housing choice vouchers. And so you will apply for Section 8 or this housing choice voucher, and Section 8, the federal government pays a portion of your rent directly to your landlord. And so it offsets your rent total. And the beauty of housing choice voucher is it allows you to take it with you. So if you want to move into a house in Ogallala, but in a year you decide to move to Vegas, you can take that voucher with you to Vegas. And so it follows the tenant where we have talked about project-based vouchers, which we don't do here. They are tied specifically to one project or one housing situation. And if you move out, you lose your Section 8 until you go somewhere else, and then you'd have to apply, and there could be waiting lists and things like that. And so that's where, honestly, where it leaves off is just a lot of uncertainty. I haven't gotten any kind of an update from that. Kelsey Snow, the director, she's been the director there for 10 years. She is resigning. Her last day will be November 30th. So we've got some big changes coming there. We also have an assistant in the office, and I've not received any formal resignation, but it has been talked about. And so that organization's got a lot of big decisions to figure out. I know we're looking to replace Kelsey. We've got ads out for that. I believe there's been a few interviews happened already. There's also, I don't want to get too much into the weeds. I'm not saying this has happened, but just so you know of the options, of course, first goal is find a new director to take over. Worst case scenario, you can always look at finding another Section 8 program, say out, just throwing this out there, North Platte, Scottsbluff, Lexington, and they can actually take those vouchers in and continue to run the program. So the long-term vision, don't know what the current administration wants to do. I know he's mentioned wants it to go away.
Yeah, and it's all income based.
Yes.
And it's for, existing housing. And it's been a program around probably 40 years or more now. What it also does is require that the unit they go into meets Section 8 housing quality standards. And a lot of times cities will get grants to help the landlords bring that property up to standard. It's a really good program. When you're low income, everybody thinks, that's some, a housing project. Well, it's not. It's helping out. It's helping out existing landlords. It's keeping the quality of the homes up, and it's putting people in safe housing. And when
It applies to elderly and disabled too.
elderly and disabled, that's absolutely correct. And back in the late 80s, I was inspecting for the program in 18 counties. Cozad, Lexington, we didn't do North Platte, they had their own program, but all these small communities. It's a great program. How many vouchers do we have in Ogallala? 200 and some, I heard.
I don't want to misquote on that.
You need
I
manager,
think-
man.
Yeah, right. I think in the entire program we have.
Maybe it was
200 and something.
Yeah, maybe it was that.
And so then I believe we have 54 or 56 in Keith County. And we had a couple on the street, a couple looking, we use them all.
Yeah.
The ones that are available to us, we use 100% of them.
Yeah, we need to stay on top of that too, to make sure that we can do whatever we can to, if the funding is there, to continue that program.
And I'll touch on project-based vouchers too, because it's been a conversation, different projects here in Ogallala. And Kelsey had actually gone to a 3-day conference on that and spoke to, after the 3 days, she learned about it. She spoke with the panel. And one of the things that really stands out to me is the panel said, well, if you're going to do project-based vouchers, who are you going to unhouse? Because that's the deal. If you're going to do project-based vouchers and move people over to that, you have to take away housing choice voucher for a certain percentage to fund the project-based voucher. So the question becomes, who are you going to unhouse? Now, there is a little bit of, as people leave the program, you can choose not to issue those out until you have enough to fund the project-based vouchers. That is a conversation. The other thing that the panel spoke about was project-based vouchers are the stepping stone to get to housing choice vouchers. So no matter how you look at it, if you go off of, the professionals that deal with this every day, if we go to project-based vouchers, it's a step backwards. I can't give you more details than that other than what the the panel, the experts that teach this stuff told us.
Totally agree. That's a harbinger to a housing project, a low income housing project. Good.
Not to mention, what I've been told is it takes anywhere between 6 and 8 months to roll that project-based voucher. That's just paper.
Yeah, it's a complicated program, but. Nice report. I'm glad I didn't have to give it for you. Nice work. Nothing on any other council members' plate that we need to discuss? With that, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Second.
I have a motion by Councilman Laughlin, a second by Councilman Block to adjourn. Council, please vote.
The date on this.
Yes.
Motion carried. Gentlemen,